Welcome to Business Time, the main stage for your business.
Hello, welcome to a new episode in our podcast. And today, if you are investors, if you are business owners and want to be able to create better accounting, better services accounting here in the UAE, this is the episode for you. I want to welcome Qaisar Nawaz to our episode. Hey, Qaisar, what's up?
I am good, man. How about you?
Great. Thank you very much for joining us to this episode.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you for having me here.
Sure, definitely. Because, we've been talking a lot, and let me just introduce you before we starting. Qaisar Nawaz, you are the owner of AlQaisar Accounting Services, company that gives here accounting services in the UAE. We're going to speak all about AlQaisar and what you are doing. But before we start talking about money and finance and business and all those things we really, really like, tell me a little bit about yourself, how you even got to this world of accounting.
So, let me start with the idea that how we come up with the idea of starting AlQaisar. So, UAE, the legislations, tax legislation specifically, they are new. So recently been implemented. So we observed that many businesses, they are having hard time to comply with, as it's a new legislation. So we come up with an idea that there should be a setup, there should be someone to guide them and to take them through all the process. So that's the main reason that we come up with the AlQaisar Accounting Services.
Amazing. And when you're saying all the idea, all the things that you should do, tell me, what does it mean? What are all those things that a business owner should know in order to create taxation in the best form possible?
So what we observed that, let's say that if you want to start a business, so you will be going to many different organizations or different departments to get the license done, then to open the bank account, to process the visas for you, for your staff, to do your accounting, for looking for tax consultancies, or to build up your financial structure. So instead of you going to different phases, so we come up with this idea that we provide one window operations. So under this one window, under one roof, we are providing all these services, which starts from the company registrations, then opening the bank account, staff are your visa processing, building up the company financial structure, compliance to the local laws and regulations, which include the compliance and the taxes. So all this we are providing under one roof. That's why we call it one window operation.
Amazing. So that's a one-stop shop, you might say. And, you just mentioned one big obstacle or big, challenge that business owners have here in the UAE, which is understanding the financial system and the law system and understand how to run through it. What are other challenges you see business owners facing as of now, from your position as helping a lot of businesses grow and create a big success in the UAE?
See, under one window operation, our main, the target audience is the SME, small businesses, And the major challenge, the obstacle small and medium-sized entities they have is they lack the enough resources. So by resources, I mean, so if they need to set up a company, so they will have to have an expert PRO to set up the license for them. Then if they need to build up a structure, financial structure specifically, so they need to have a expert CFO. Same applies when they need a tax advice or when they need to open a bank account. And even if you see, establishing a company is a simple task, but it can be very complicated. So if you don't know where you should be, so as you know that UAE involves is divided into two major parts. One is free zone, the other part is the mainland. So where your business should be. So if you go, in both cases, you can open the license, you can register your company by yourself. But if you don't deal it through a professional person or a person who knows, who is well aware or well educated or well trained or expert in financial tax and local regulations. So you might start with the easy process, but you might end up with something very expensive or costly. So if today you need to register a company, if a person with who is expert in the local laws and regulations and financial perspective, he will be able to give you a better and best option which suits you, that where you should register the company, whether you should go for a free zone or whether you should be in the mainland. Okay. Previously, the major difference between mainland and free zone was ownership. That if you want 100% ownership, you can go in the free zone. And if you need to be, otherwise you have mainland, but in mainland you need to have 51% ownership. This was the major reason. But now, since 2018, with the VAT and excise tax, and then later in 2024 with the corporate tax implementation, so it's not only the ownership anymore. So you have to look into how the taxes will affect you. So if you might be out of the scope or exempt for all the taxes, if you are in a better place, if you are in a suitable place. So that's why even to start the company, it's not just you go or do a transaction, which you can do with any licensing authority. You should have someone who knows how the laws will be implemented on you.
Amazing. And when you were saying that, I feel that a lot of people coming to the UAE, hoping to open a business for themselves. Sometimes, they're not looking to work here in the UAE. They have businesses all around the world and just need, a better place to run their business from, whether it's at the taxation level, maybe it's in different levels. And they come and open free zone license like you mentioned. But what are the regular their law regulations about that? Because they need to be taxated somewhere. And so what is the taxation says about a person that has a company outside of the UAE opening it here, and when can it be taxed here and not in his home country?
Okay. See, in this part, so first we should know what are the taxes in the UAE. Okay. So you have custom duty, but it's not something new. So everyone is aware that whenever you import goods and you want to bring them inside the mainland, you have to pay the custom duty. But apart from this one, you have VAT and excise duty or excise tax. But excise tax is on a limited number of products. It's based on the products that, for example, tobacco, cold drinks, energy drinks. So a specific range of products. But VAT, since it is implemented since 2018, okay, so it's almost on each and every transaction. Okay, it is a bit simpler if you are dealing in the product industry. Okay, you are buying goods and you are selling it. If you are selling it locally, you have to charge VAT. If you are exporting these goods, then it will be zero rated. Now, there are some documentations required how you should export it. Okay, it can be discussed in details, but this is the major. Like if you are in the goods business, but when you are in a service-based industry, so you have to look at each transaction. It is not as simple as for the goods. Here you have to look at who is taking advantage of those services at the time of services, whether he is inside the country or outside the country, how you are providing the services. So then so it affects each and every transaction. You might have to charge VAT or it might be 0%. This is for the services. And this is for the VAT. And this VAT, each business is a collection center for the government. So you collect the VAT from your customers, you pay to your suppliers or vendors. So the net amount you are paying to the government. Okay. It is affecting the business to, let's say, with some administration that you will have to have an accountant to look after these calculations. But as a business, it is not affecting you. So since 1st July 2023, or let's say 2024, because majority of the company, it depends on what your year end is. So majority, more than 95%, 90% plus, their year end is in Jan to December. So let's say from 1st January 2024, the government implemented corporate tax. So the corporate tax is 9% on your net earnings, net profit, which is sales minus all your expenses, whether it's cost of goods sold, business running expenses. You are left with an amount. Then the government is giving you an allowance of 375,000 dirham as an allowance. After deducting this allowance, whatever is left, so you have to apply 9% on it and pay to the government.
So Qaisar, you mentioned the one window operation thing. In what you're saying, I want you to elaborate a little bit on that. What do you mean by one window? What exactly is involving, in this entire process of opening a company in the UAE?
Okay, glad that you asked this one. So under one window operation, so under one roof, we are providing all the services that an SME or a startup needs. What does that mean? It means, so you are an investor, you are coming to UAE, or you are someone have a business idea that you want to start it. Okay, so let's call it a startup or an SME. So you come to us, we start the process with the company registration. So we get the legal part done. We get your trade license. With processing your visa. So then we move to next part, which is the bank account opening. We open the bank account for you. Then as you are a business established in the UAE, so there are legal requirements that let me say like this, that as soon as you get the license issued, so from the license issuance date, now you have to comply with the rules and regulations. So the first, I shouldn't say first, one of the first that you should do is that you should register for the corporate tax. You have 90 days from the license issuance date that you should get yourself registered for the corporate tax. Then comes the second part, or another compliance requirement is VAT, but this depends on what are your sales or your income starting from license issuance date until the last date. So if you reach 100,000 USD, you must need to register for VAT, whether your services are outside the country or inside the country, whether you are selling the goods outside the country or inside the country. So we all these services that are required for an SME or a startup, we are providing under one roof, starting from business license, bank account opening, financial structuring, tax compliance, any legal compliance. So see, many people, when you say legal requirements, they look for about the taxes. So it's not only the taxes requirement that you need to comply with. So depending on different industries, some requirements are there. For example, if you are into real estate brokerage, or if you are as an auditor or accountant, or if you are dealing with precious metals, so you have to comply with anti-money laundering legislations as well. And and for all the businesses, you have to comply with the economic substance regulations. It's called ESR. That when you are doing the activities in the country, or you having a business inside the country, do you have enough economic substance or not? So all these services we are providing under one window operation.
Okay, so it's like a one-stop shop for everything around the company registration. And can you just walk us through a little bit more how is the company formation process looks like? What do you need to know about it?
Okay. So company registration is a very simple task, but if not properly done, it can be very complex, and it comes with additional requirements, plus might cost you much more expensive than if you would have done it in a proper way. So let's say you are a startup, okay? So depending on, so you must sit with someone who is expert with the legal requirements, financial perspective for the UAE rules and regulations. So you should share with him what is your business model, okay? If you go to any, I think this we should cut, it's going outside.
Okay.
And by the way, this was covered. This was done. We should have done to 4.
That's what I did for. This is 4.
Yeah? Okay. Sorry.
For his company.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just let me.
I think you explained it pretty good last time.
Okay.
So I would maybe just go.
Okay, because I just wanted to, I covered.
I think you did.
I just wanted to include 2 points because they are important. Not opening the bank account, and if you don't register for VAT, for the corporate tax. But I covered it already.
You talked, I'll ask you specifically about the bank account because you haven't covered that one, and then we'll move on, okay?
Yeah. And corporate tax registration that you mentioned.
That you did.
Yeah, but you can ask like, what if I don't register for VAT within 90 days as you mentioned?
Okay. VAT or corporate tax?
Corporate tax.
Okay. So you mentioned many parts of opening a company, but you just mentioned bank account, and I think to myself, for almost everyone that watches us, and not a UAE resident or a citizen, bank account seems like a pretty easy deal. You just go to the bank, open a bank account, pretty easy. But here in the UAE, it's a little bit more complicated than that, right?
Yes, you're right. So the banks here, many of the banks, they're working very conventional way. So, for instance, one of their requirement will be your physical office. But many of businesses, especially when you are in service industry, you don't require a business. You don't require a physical office. So this is one of the requirement from many of the banks. We are partnered with some banks. So one of this requirement is very important. So it's very important for any business who gets the business license to have the bank account as soon as possible. Sorry. So if you don't have a bank account, so some people, what they think, okay, I don't have a business, I get my license, but due to some any circumstances, my operations or revenue generation is delayed for a couple of months, for example. So if you stop the process or you left it in between and you want to open the bank account after, let's say 6 months, 7 months, or after a year, many banks, they reject your application. That's why you are opening the bank account now. The reason that why it is not done in the initial phase. So it's a red flag for the banks. Okay, so the business bank account should be open as soon as you get the license. Okay, so apart from this one, now we can go to the next question. You can ask the corporate tax.
When you want me to move forward, just put a dot at the end of the sentence, and then I'll take it from there.
Okay.
Okay, and about, you just mentioned something which is very interesting to me, is the corporate tax. You said that you have to apply for corporate tax in 90 days,
yes.
Or else what? What will happen?
So as you get the license, so from the license issuance date, you have 90 days to start your corporate tax registration. If you don't do it, you will get a penalty of AED 10,000.
10,000 dirhams.
Yes.
Yeah, wow, which is a big penalty, of course, for anyone, I think.
Yes, and almost equals to your license cost.
Yeah, so that's really good to know. And about that, I just want to understand a little bit better about your own services, AlQaisar Services. Also, for one of them, which is very important, I think, it's CFO services. Many companies, the big companies have CFO inside, and they have accounting company, but SMEs can't afford CFO, full-time CFO. So you're giving it, as an outsource in a way that allow those businesses to grow. So tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. So CFO services, what we do under the CFO services, we partner with our clients. So my team becomes part of their organization. Okay. So what does that mean actually? So we handle all the services what I mentioned to you that an SME requires. We take care of each and every one of them. It's not just one person from my team that who will take care of everything. No, I have expert for each specific service. From company registration, I have an expert PRO. For tax, I have an tax expert. So each service, I have an expert person. So under CFO services, we partner with our client. So under this service, we manage everything for them. So when you say everything, it's a very general term to say, but let me elaborate. So let's say you are a business that have started its operation. You, as a startup, you are expert in what you do. Okay. So for us, we ask our clients, you do what you are expert of. All others, you leave it with us, which covers building up the financial structure. Of course, it's the very initial and important task. But what I'm covering now is the operational part, issuing the invoices, following up the payments from those customers, providing you with receivables, up-to-date receivables that at any time. And let's say what we do, we agree with our clients. For some information is important weekly. For others, maybe it is important that they get monthly basis. So when we are building the structure, we understand from them which information, how frequently they need. Okay. So issuing the invoice, following up the customers, then reconciling their accounts, and issuing the statement of accounts. Okay. This is part for the invoicing part from your money inflows. Okay. For outflows or for expenses part, so suppliers, they send us the invoices, they introduce us to them, or they give, for example, they share our contact details with them. They send us the bills, we check them, we verify them, and then we issue the payment, initiate the payment. Most of the clients, so they give us for example, for their bank account, initiator. So we initiate the transfers, then end of the day, they have all the payments in front of them, whichever they need to approve, they approve it. This is how we do the CFO services operationally. So reconciling the banks, reconciling your customers, and reconciling your vendors.
Amazing. Very time effective, cost effective, of course,
Yes,
way to run your
yes.
business in the best way and avoid many mistakes. And I know, Qaisar, that you've been doing it for quite some time, helping many people. Can you share with us one of your success stories, helping businesses, in a interesting way?
Yeah. So we have a range of clients, and many of them the success stories. Okay. Many of them came to us after they spent some time with someone, and then I will share two case studies with you. That one of our customer, he came to us. So he was almost at the mid of the process. So he have already established a company. He registered a company. So he went to someone who is just registering the company. So he go to him. So his business model was that he will produce vegetables in a farm locally, and 100% of his customers are local market. Somehow he established the company in a free zone, and not just a normal free zone, a fenced one. So when you have a fenced free zone, so everything you have to deal with must go through the custom clearance. Okay, there are huge additional requirements. And imagine what happened in his case was that he's producing locally in one emirate and selling all over the UAE, and his company is established inside the free zone. So the tax treatment, everything for him it's impossible. Why? as you are inside the free zone, so first he should bring these vegetables or the fruits or his products inside the free zone. So imagine the transport and the custom clearance. Then he should sell these goods to local market. Again, he have to bring out these goods through customs and all of this on. So it's not only additional costs, no, and it's impossible also. And also consider that these are perishable goods. These are vegetables with expiry dates. So after explaining to him, he understood the situation that he is in. So we had to close his company in the free zone, and he registered a new company in the mainland because this was his business model. Not only this he registered, we had to revise all the agreements that he has with the landowner, okay, with his customers, with his suppliers. Everything has to be renegotiated. So it's just, as I mentioned previously, that it's a simple process, but if not done properly, it can be very complex and costly.
Definitely. And you had another case study you would like to share with us.
So the other case study, which so here he couldn't get a proper advice. The other case study, so in the UAE the tax legislations are very new, okay, but here you have businesses from many years, okay. So this case study just to tell you that how it is affecting or how it can affect a business, the tax legislation. So one of my clients, they are into automobile. They have a factory to manufacture the automobile oil and lubricants. Okay, so they have a factory in the mainland. Okay, more than 20 years old. Okay, they are in this business more than 20 years. So all their business is outside the country. They are exporting to other countries. So as they are in the mainland, okay, so with the new legislation, they must have to be, in order to be a qualified free zone person, like not to pay, in simple words, for them not to have the corporate tax, they should be in a free zone, in a designated free zone, the one fenced. Fenced means that you have a custom control, and anything coming in or out, it must be through the custom process. So now with the corporate tax, they have to move their business from mainland to a free zone. So this is how the tax legislations are affecting the businesses, are impacting the businesses. Okay, so they have good business, but not in
the right place. Yeah, that's very interesting, yes. And it brings a lot of questions, a lot of ideas. Definitely, I want to talk to you a little bit about expenses. Okay, because I feel that it's also one very important thing to know, because every country has its own definition of expenses. What are the tax allowable expenses? Some countries say that is allowable. Some countries say something else. How is the UAE treating tax allowable expenses?
Okay, so yes, as I mentioned, that the corporate tax is on your net profit. Net profit is your sales less your cost of sales or cost of services less all your allowable expenses. In a very simple statement, any kind of business related which are wholly for the business purpose, yes, they are allowable. Okay. Of course, there are some conditions that what expenses are for business you have to maintain, whether this is for business purpose or personal purpose. Personal purposes you have to remove because they are not part of your profit and loss for the tax purpose. So all business related expenses are tax allowable expenses. Here one as for the SMEs, one question which we get asked from almost all our customers, our clients, is that, as you know, SME means that the owner himself is full-time working for the business. So the questions we are always being asked that, how about my salary as I'm working full-time for the business? So what about me? So how much can I pay myself, whether what if I pay myself, whether it will be an allowable expense or not. So in this one, as a simple statement, if you're working full time for your business, yes, you can take your salary and it will be a tax allowable expense.
Okay, so that's a very good answer, very soothing one for those who open their business in the UAE. And I want to talk to you a little bit about your help with bookkeeping and financial management, because we've mentioned it a little bit on the CFO side, but I want to
Yes.
understand a little bit better with you. What does your bookkeeping services are up to? What are you doing inside of them?
Okay, see, major businesses, major accountants in the UAE, they are providing bookkeeping services. Bookkeeping is a very small part in the CFO services. This one, so in a simple statement. So as per the UAE regulations, each business have to maintain its records for 7 years from the tax period it occurred. So bookkeeping, we ensure that you have proper books maintained to comply with the record keeping requirements.
All right, so that's a very good thing to know. And I want to maybe, because you have a lot of experience working with SMEs, with entrepreneurs, with businesses in the UAE, can you maybe give us one piece of advice for those who listen to us right now about their companies' finances?
They should have someone, a financial advisor or a CFO, to look after their legal requirements, because the legislations are new. People are not well aware of those. Okay, and taxes are involved in each and every transaction. There must be someone to look after for them. As for the main thing for SMEs, they are very good in what they do. You don't have a different departments, finance and legal department. So you need a partner to work with you. You need some expert to work with you as a partner to look after each and every transaction that you have to do this way in order to comply with the rules and regulations. For example, one of the transaction, as I mentioned to you, that the owner can take his salary. How much? That's the question. So here he can guide you how much you should take your salary.
Definitely, it's a very good thing to know, and you definitely need someone, especially in a new country when you don't know the legislation very good. You haven't grown up,
Yeah, exactly.
learning this legislation. Even if you are all time living in the UAE, it's new. So it's new for everybody now. Doesn't matter if you
true.
are a
Yes,
citizen
exactly.
or you came here to do your business. And Qaisar, I know that AlQaisar and your business has been very famous here in the UAE. You've been a lot in the newspapers, in the media outlets. So can you share with us a little bit how does it came to being?
See, so as we are providing one window operation, so this was highlighted and much appreciated by many of our clients, that when they know that it's a one office that we need to deal with and he will take care of everything. So that was the major reason that we get featured and we get a very good response from our customers.
That's good. That's very good, because then it means you are recognized for your finance excellency. Let's say, because we've been mentioning and been talking a lot about businesses and accounting, and the Qaisar, there are many accounting and bookkeeping companies here in the UAE offering those services. Can you tell me what sets AlQaisar apart from the competition here in the UAE?
See, one of the reason that we work as a partner. When we say partner, we are partner. And many of the service providers in the accounting services, their scope of work is very limited. Maybe some to bookkeeping, some are limited only for the tax consultancy, some of them only for the audit requirements. But here we are providing all the services. So if you're dealing with anyone else, so he might say, okay, I'm just your accountant, so don't ask me for the tax advice. Okay. Or if there is you get into a situation that you needed or you should have done this transaction in this way to comply with the tax. So no, I'm just the bookkeeper. So no, in our case, no, we are not just the bookkeeper. So we are someone that you can rely on.
So, Qaisar, I want to ask you a little bit about misconceptions because I feel that a lot of people come to the UAE, thinking something, and once they come here, they think a little bit differently, or they see the future, or the reality is changing a little bit. So, can you just tell us what are your misconceptions that you've hearing from business owners, SME owners around finance and money here?
Yeah, there are so many misconceptions, but in reality, yeah, it's way different. So when you heard that it's Middle East, so you might think that all the processes will be time consuming and slow process. But once they are here on the ground, and when they see that how the things are getting done in a faster way, we get very impressed responses from many of our customers. It's the way how the government have reduced the transactions processing time. For example, if you need to register a company, even if you have entered in the UAE and one of the UAE pass, okay, if you have UAE pass, you can get the things done just by your phone, okay, company registration. So all the processes, they are very, very simplified and so quickly. So this is one of the major misconception that the people have before they come to UAE. And so this is...
Yeah, definitely. I like even, I came after I worked in many countries around the world, and I never seen a place where everything's so digital,
Yes.
so convenient. You can do almost everything, not just be a business side, by the way. Taking a license, a driver's license here, so easy.
Yes.
So fast. It can happen in a day. And here in all over the world, it can be weeks or even months.
Yeah,
to
true.
do those things. So everything's so digital and so rapid here. So it's amazing to...
Yes, even with perspective of bookkeeping, accounting, or how the tax returns to be filed. So everything is very convenient, and it's very convenient for to be done.
Definitely. Okay. And while we mentioned, the differences between UAE and international business, can you just also tell us, why international business should expand to UAE market? What are the things that are the things that they're waiting for them once they come here to the UAE?
Okay, so previously, there is no tax, no corporate tax for the businesses. So some small businesses, they were hesitant to move to a country where there is no corporate no taxes, because the taxes in your country, they will question you why you moved to such country that there are no taxes. So with the recent tax implementation, so it's and that 9% is very low.
Is one of the lowest
one of
corporate
the lowest
taxes in the
yes,
world. Yeah,
one of the lowest. So, and also not only this that is the lowest. So many as an investor, as a business owner, so you generate profits from your business, but to have it as a savings, you invest in other businesses or other assets. So, for example, businesses have 9%. Okay, real estate doesn't have the corporate tax. If you own, as a natural person, you owns property, whether you resell them or you get the rentals from them, there is no corporate tax. Okay, so the real estate, there is no corporate tax with respect to the rentals or the capital appreciation. So now businesses who are in the international or other countries, so for them to move to UAE, so you have the corporate tax 9%. There you have much more. One thing they should be you need to maintain locally is ESR, Economic Substance Regulations. You have to comply with them. That if you are doing the business in the UAE, you have these are called core income generating activities. These must be performed in the UAE. Okay, then if these are being performed in the UAE, so whether you have businesses in different countries, yeah, it won't affect you. It will be beneficial for businesses who are into more countries if they are in the UAE as well.
Definitely. If you want to know about that, definitely should contact AlQaisar and know a little bit more, especially to
Yes.
their business. Let's talk a little bit about something that's very, very important and scares a lot of business owners, which is audits. Everyone's scared for the audit. What they will find there, we need to pay more taxes, pay fines, etc. So tell us how this the audit, works in the UAE, and what you should know about it.
Okay, so audit requirement is very simple in the UAE. Okay, there is so if you are in a free zone, different free zones, they have their requirements to submit the audited financials to them. But as per the UAE regulations, I'm not exactly sure how much the amount, but it is, you can say 50 million plus. If your sales are more than 50 million plus, either it's around 55 or 60 million dirhams. If your sales are more than, let's say 50 million or a specific amount, plus then this amount, you are required to do the audit. Okay, most SMEs, their sales are below this amount annually, so they are not required to do a financial audit of their company. So there are many things, many misconceptions, again to the previous question, that people are not aware of, that what are the benefits that they have. One of, for the SMEs, the government has announced a relief for the small businesses. It's called SBR, Small Business Relief. So what is SBR? SBR is that if the sales of a business, of a company, is 3 million or below, there is no corporate tax for them. And many businesses fall under SME or SBR relief, that they have their sales will be less than 3 million over the 12 month. There will be no corporate tax. It will be covered under this relief. So many people, they are not aware of this one. So, and you can take advantage of that. And even if you are earning 3 million and 3 million is your profit. So suppose if your sales are 3 million, let's say 500,000 is your expenses. So 2.5 million is your net profit. Okay. As in service-based companies, your profit margins are high. That's why I'm assuming. So 2.5, if there is no small business relief, so you will be taxed at 2.5 million minus 375,000 allowance. So the balance amount, you will be taxed 9%, which should be around 200,000. So, but if, as the government has announced the SBR, which is until 2026, okay, so you will not have to pay this tax. So it's small business relief, but it's not a small relief.
Yeah.
If you look at UAE, there are so many SMEs. Okay, so for the government perspective, it's a very big initiative.
And it's very, very good to know, especially as a starting business owner in the UAE. I want to ask you, Qaisar, we've spoken a lot about a lot of things in this interview about the current, the present of taxation and business in the UAE. I want to ask you a little bit about the future. How do you see the trends in UAE business, in UAE financing, going forward in these few years to come?
There are new legislations also in queue. One of them, for example, e-invoicing. It will be implemented soon, not later. So also, with the digital currency, okay. So these are the new updates that will be going on in the UAE. And many, even especially you will see recently, there are many banks have they're very. So previously, it's conventional banking, physical branches, physical offices. So there are many banks that now they are facilitating the small businesses. And all this, by 2030, there will be 1 million SMEs all over the world, additional. So UAE is preparing itself to have many of them, okay? So even all the institutes, for example, the banking part, if you look. So recently you will have noticed that there are many new banks in the market that they are just online banks. Maybe they are owned by another physical bank, but they are online bank and they facilitates all the process. To open the bank account, you don't have to visit any branch. You can do it by your phone, by laptop. So even to conduct the transactions, so all these new updates, yes, this is with the future perspective.
Amazing. So that's very good to know. And Qaisar, we just finishing this interview now. There is anything else you would like to share with everyone that watches us now before we finish?
So my I will say that focus on what you do the best, okay, and you should partner with someone to take care of your finances and legal requirements. The legislations are new in the country. Many people are not aware of those. There are many of those, like even the reliefs that or even the topics that we're covering, that owner salary. So all this, so they should partner with someone expert in the tax and finance.
Sounds good. Definitely. I definitely agree because you can't know everything by yourself, and it's very good to have someone that can look after you. Qaisar Nawaz, AlQaisar Accounting Services, thank you so much for being with us this episode. I've learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
me here.
Thank you so much for being with us. See you next
Thank
time.
you.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Business Time, the main stage for your business.